Hello, book lovers, and welcome back or welcome to Nakat's Bookish Cafe. Today we are here to do a mini book shopping book haul video. Alright guys, so I have just gotten back from my book shopping and you'll see some clips for that in just a moment, but I wanted to film the introductory video here. And I have a indie bookstore downtown near where I live called Borrowers, and I received a gift card for this store back in November for my birthday, and I have yet to use it. So it's been burning a hole in my pocket and I am ready to buy some new books. So that is what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna go ahead and take you downtown with me. We're gonna go ahead and do some browsing. I do have a couple of books that I'm keeping my eye out for, but we will see what else I see there. I think for the most part they focus a lot on like newer fiction, which is fine, but I tend not to buy adult newer fiction because it's like $30 a book. But hey, maybe I will find some new books to add to my TBR that I can get either from the library or once they're out in paperback, which is what I usually do. But without further ado, I will go ahead and send you off with past Natalie to go ahead and do a little bit of money spending at a local business.
Tell me where to go. Say it to toxic people, so tell me where you go. Tell me where you go. Say what you know. I haven't had a home in a while. Tell me where you go. Tell me where you go. Say what you know.
All right, so we have our books here in our Palomento State University bag, which is of course for the All for the Game series, and I ended up spending $41 of my own money, and I had a $50 gift card as well as a older gift card that still had $8.44 on it. So I do believe I have 5 books. Yes, 5 books that I am going to share with you today, and I am super excited. I did find those 2 books that I was looking for. There was technically a third I was kind of hoping to get that I unfortunately didn't find there. It's called The Final Strife. I can't remember the name of the author, but it is a adult fantasy book that I've seen at that store before, but it seems that they unfortunately don't have it this time, but that is okay. We have 5 books. I'm gonna go ahead and go through the 2 that I went shopping for specifically, and then the other 3 that I just had to pick up while I was there. All right, so the first book on this list is going to be Happy Place by Emily Henry. They finally have the paperback. I know they've recently been publishing her books in hardback, and I think this is because she's really popular, and some people say her books are a little bit literary fiction leaning, and so I think that the publishers feel they can get away with hardback, which fine. I'm more than happy to wait the 6 to 12 months to get the book until the paperback is out. I am a very patient person, and I'm also very, very stubborn when it comes to my belief that romance books should not be hardback books. This being said, I am a little nervous about this book because I feel like even a lot of Emily Henry fans are not in love with this book. I have not heard the greatest things, and I have to admit, when I heard the synopsis, I was a little bit nervous about it. Essentially, we are following a couple that broke up, but they haven't gotten around to telling their friend group yet, and their friends are getting together kind of for a final hurrah at like a vacation spot that they are planning on selling. And so when they go here, they don't want to ruin the vibe by being like, hey guys, we broke up. So they're going to fake date while they're there, and then obviously they're going to get back together. And I have to admit, I sometimes get a little bit uncomfortable about the idea of someone trying to kind of like tease and seduce someone who has told them that they're no longer into them. Like, even if that person is still into them, but you know, the other person doesn't know, I feel like it's a weird thing to be just kind of trying to get someone horny who you think doesn't want you anymore. So, and I feel like there's a lot of that going on in this story, and it's not my vibe. So I do kind of have a feeling that this is going to be less of a 5-star than all the other books I've given her, because I have given all of her books 5 stars, but it is an Emily Henry. I'm an Emily Henry fan. I own all her books, and I'm going to continue to own all her books. So I went ahead and picked this bad boy up. Up next, I did pick up a hardback. However, it's a young adult, so it wasn't $30. And that is going to be Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Faraday Becky Umedi. And this is the author of Ace of Spades, which is sitting right here on my favorites shelf. So I just knew that I had to go ahead and get her new book. Now, I've heard some reviews for it, and people seem to be enjoying it, but not as much as Ace of Spades, and I have heard some complaints that the story is a bit slow paced. So I am a little nervous with horror. Sometimes I don't mind a slower pace, especially if it builds up to something pretty intense. I'm totally fine with it. I know I enjoy her writing and her characters and the themes in her story, and people do seem to be liking this book, just not quite as much of Ace of Spades. We are following a young Black girl who has been accepted into a private high school, and when she shows up there shortly after, her roommate goes missing, and she kind of gets the feeling that the school's not doing enough about it, and so she starts to investigate as well. So I'm looking forward to the kind of, I don't know if it'll have dark academia vibes, but it'll definitely be a school setting for this horror story. And while I'm not going into this hoping for another Ace of Spades all-time favorite story, I do have a rather high expectations for this author and am really excited to check out their next work. Moving on to the stories that I picked up because I saw them and I was like, I want that. We first have Our Missing Hearts by Celeste Ning. This is the author of Everything I Never Told You, which was one of my favorite books last year. She also wrote Little Fires Everywhere, which I never read, but I watched and really enjoyed the TV show adaptation of that. So I just know that I really enjoy her characters and her stories. This book, I believe, is literary fiction. For some reason, I want to say it has a little bit of magical realism in it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm mixing it up with another book. But in this book, we are following a young man whose mother left when he was 9 years old. She was a Chinese American poet or writer whose books have been banned, and he always resented her for choosing her work and leaving above choosing him. However, one day he is sent a mysterious letter that has a drawing in it that sends him on a quest to find his mother, and it just sounds really interesting. I really haven't heard much about the story, but like I said, I just really enjoy her writing, her storytelling, her characters, and the themes that she explores in her story. So I'm hoping that this is a impactful read and that I can get to it soon, hopefully. Up next, we have another book that I was waiting for the paperback to come out, and when I saw it, I was like, hey, you're coming home with me. And that's going to be Chain Gang All-Star by Nana Kwame Aji-Brenya. I apologize if I butchered that name, but this seems to be kind of a dystopian alternate reality exploring the prison system here in America. Essentially, we are following a prison, a women's prison, I believe, and they have the opportunity to get out of prison by winning what is essentially like a gladiator fight, which can also lead to their death. And I believe we are following two women who are romantically involved, and one of them is getting to the level where she has the potential to win her way out of this prison. And it just sounds really intense. I really do like commentary on the American prison system because it's a mess, and this just seems like a really interesting way to go about it. I have heard some people talking about it and the reviews have seemed relatively positive so far. It does seem to have a couple of awards on it already, or at the very least some finalist rewards. So that is making me very optimistic about this story. And finally, this is probably the most unexpected book that I picked up, and that is Oma Jean, obviously, and this is a contemporary YA story featuring a young girl who sees herself as a straight ally. She's just like the #1 ally, but it seems that one day she realized that maybe she's a little bit more than an ally and she may actually be bisexual or lesbian, and we watch kind of as she explores this. I am going to be honest, I have not had the best of luck when it comes to lesbian sapphic romances. And I know that I've heard some other people saying not the best things about what is available, but this book, I have heard literally nothing but good things about it. So I'm hoping that kind of turns that train around, because I definitely want to get more into sapphic literature. It's just very difficult for me to do so because there's not that much out there and not that much that is highly acclaimed. And to be honest, with me having had mostly negative experiences with it, I find myself not often drawn to it. but I'm not gonna quit because I obviously want to make sure that I'm reading about the lesbian experience, and there are some good books out there. I just need to go ahead and find them, and I'm hoping that this is one of them. It does have an award on it, so that definitely has me optimistic. All right, so here are the 5 books that I bought. I think we definitely got a good diverse stack here. We have some YA horror, we have some adult contemporary, we have some YA contemporary, we have some adult kind of sci-fi, and then we have some adult more literary fiction leaning. We also have a couple of Black authors in here, as well as an East Asian author. And we like to keep our TBR nice and diverse, which means buying diverse books. So I would love to know if you guys have read any of these books and what you thought of them. I would also love to know what books you recently added to your shelves. As always, guys, thank you so much for supporting my channel by watching my videos, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!